Have you ever had that weird feeling that time is just zipping by faster and faster? One minute it's Monday morning, and before you know it, the weekend's here again. It's like someone hit the fast forward button on life, right? Well, guess what? You're not going crazy, and you're definitely not alone. Tons of people all over the world are feeling the exact same way. But here's the kicker. There's actually a mind-blowing spiritual reason behind why this is happening. And trust me, it's not what you think. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, great, another one of those woo-woo spiritual theories. But hang on a second, because this isn't just some random idea I cooked up. This is based on real spiritual concepts that have been around for ages, and it could totally change the way you look at, well, everything. Let's talk about this time speed-up thing for a moment. It's not just in your head. It's not because you're getting older or because life is busier than ever, though those things don't help. Nope, this is something much bigger and way more exciting. We're talking about huge spiritual changes that are happening right here on Earth right now. And get this, these changes are affecting every single one of us, whether we know it or not. Think about it like this. You know how sometimes a day can feel like it lasts forever, like when you're stuck in a boring meeting or waiting for test results? And other times, like when you're having a blast with friends, time seems to fly by in the blink of an eye? Well, what's happening now is kind of like that, but on a massive global scale. It's as if the whole world decided to join in on the fun, and now time itself is getting in on the act. Now you might be wondering, okay, so time feels like it's speeding up. So what? Why should I care? Well, let me tell you, this isn't just some cool fact to bring up at parties, though it totally is that too. Understanding what's really going on with time could be a total game changer for your life. Think about it. When time feels like it's slipping through your fingers, it's easy to get stressed out, right? You might feel like you're always playing catch-up, never quite getting everything done, always rushing from one thing to the next. It's exhausting. And if you don't understand why this is happening, it can leave you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and maybe even a little hopeless. But here's the thing. Once you get what's really going on, it's like putting on a pair of magical glasses. Suddenly, everything looks different. You start to see the bigger picture, and all that stress and anxiety, it starts to melt away. You might even find yourself feeling more peaceful, more purposeful, like you're part of something much bigger than yourself. And let's be real, who couldn't use a little more peace and purpose in their life, right? Okay, so let's dive into the juicy stuff. This whole time speed-up thing, it's not just happening in a vacuum. It's all tied up with some major spiritual changes that are going down on our little blue planet. Now, I know spiritual changes might sound a bit out there, but stay with me. I'm not talking about anything too wild or woo-woo. This is about energy, consciousness, and the way we experience reality. And trust me, it's way cooler than it sounds. So picture the Earth as a living, breathing thing, which, by the way, lots of spiritual traditions believe it is. Just like how you might go through phases in your life, maybe you decide to get fit, or learn a new skill, or work on being a better person, the Earth goes through phases too. And right now, we're in the middle of a major growth spurt. It's like the whole planet decided to sign up for some cosmic gym membership, and now we're all along for the ride. This energy upgrade is affecting everything and everyone on the planet. It's changing the way we think, the way we feel, and yes, even the way we experience time. Now you might be thinking, hold up, if this is such a big deal, why haven't I heard about it before? Well, the thing is, these changes are happening on such a deep level that a lot of people don't even realize what's going on. It's kind of like how you don't notice yourself growing taller when you're a kid. But one day you wake up and suddenly your pants are too short. But here's where it gets really interesting. Even if you're not consciously aware of these changes, you're still feeling the effects. It's showing up in all sorts of ways, like how time seems to be speeding up. Think about it like this. Have you ever been so focused on something, maybe a hobby you love or a really good book, that you completely lost track of time? Hours flew by, but it felt like minutes? Well, that's kind of what's happening on a global scale right now. The Earth is super focused on this growth and change, and we're all getting swept up in it. It's like we're all passengers on this amazing cosmic train, and it's picking up speed. The scenery outside the window is whizzing by faster and faster, and that's why time feels like it's speeding up. But here's the really cool part. This isn't just some random thing that's happening to us. It's not a glitch in the matrix or a cosmic accident. Nope, this speed up is actually serving a purpose. It's pushing us as individuals and as a species to grow, to evolve, to become more than we were before. It's like the universe is giving us a little nudge, okay, maybe a big nudge, and saying, hey, it's time to wake up. There's so much more to reality than what you've been seeing. And that's where things start to get really exciting. Because once you understand what's really going on, you start to see opportunities everywhere. Opportunities to grow, to learn, to expand your consciousness in ways you never thought possible. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we dive into all that good stuff, let's talk a bit more about what this energy shift actually means for us in our day-to-day lives. Because trust me, it's affecting you in ways you might not even realize. Certainly. I'll continue with the next 3 sections of the script, following the outline and maintaining the same engaging, easy-to-understand style. So we've talked about how the Earth is going through some big changes, right? Well, let's dig a little deeper into what that actually means. Imagine the Earth as a giant computer. Now, this computer has been running on the same old software for a really long time. It's been doing okay, but it's starting to slow down, get a bit glitchy. Well, what's happening now is like a massive system upgrade. This upgrade is all about energy. But we're not talking about the kind of energy you use to power your phone or your car. We're talking about spiritual energy, life force energy, the kind of energy that makes everything in the universe tick. Now here's where it gets really interesting. This higher energy isn't just affecting the Earth as a whole. It's affecting everything on the planet, including you and me. It's like we're all getting an energy boost whether we realize it or not. But what does this energy upgrade actually do? Well, it's kind of like switching from an old clunky computer to a brand new, super fast one. Everything starts moving faster, processing quicker, and that includes our experience of time. Think about it like this. Have you ever noticed how time seems to slow down when you're bored or waiting for something, and how it speeds up when you're having fun or super busy? Well, this energy upgrade is like putting the whole world into fun mode or busy mode all the time. It's not that time itself is actually speeding up. Time is still ticking along at the same rate it always has. But our experience of time, how we perceive it, that's what's changing. And it's all because of this cosmic energy upgrade we're going through. Now you might be thinking, okay, but why is this happening now? Why not 100 years ago or 100 years in the future? Well, that's a great question, and it leads us to our next big idea. Here's a mind bender for you. What if I told you that humanity as a whole is becoming more aware, more conscious? It might not always feel like it when you watch the news, but on a deeper level, something amazing is happening. This growth in awareness is directly tied to the energy shift we just talked about. As the Earth's energy increases, it's like it's giving us all a little nudge to wake up, to see things more clearly, to understand more deeply. Now let's break this down a bit. When we talk about consciousness, we're not just talking about being awake versus being asleep. We're talking about how aware we are of ourselves, of others, of the world around us, and even of the bigger picture of existence. Think about how a baby grows into a child, then a teenager, then an adult. At each stage, they become more aware, more conscious of themselves and the world. Well, humanity is going through something similar right now, but on a much bigger scale. And here's where it gets really cool. This growth in consciousness is actually changing how we experience time. Remember when you were a kid, how summers seemed to last forever. And now, as an adult, they seem to fly by in the blink of an eye. That's because as we become more conscious, more aware, our perception of time changes. As we become more conscious, we're able to process more information, more experiences, more quickly. It's like we're upgrading our internal processes. And just like a faster computer can do more in less time, our increased consciousness allows us to experience more in what feels like less time. But it's not just about processing speed. As we become more conscious, we also become more present, more aware of the now. And when you're really present, really in the moment, time tends to take on a different quality. It can feel like it's stretching out and speeding up all at the same time. This might all sound a bit abstract, so let's bring it down to earth with a practical example. Have you ever had a day where you were so focused, so in the zone, that hours flew by without you even noticing? That's a taste of what this increased consciousness feels like. Now imagine that happening on a global scale with more and more people tapping into this state more often. Can you see how that might make time feel like it's speeding up for everyone? Now let's really blow your mind. What if I told you that time, as we know it, is an illusion? I know, it sounds crazy. After all, we all experience time, right? We have schedules, deadlines, birthdays. Time is a huge part of our lives. But from a spiritual perspective, time isn't quite what we think it is. In many spiritual traditions, past, present, and future are seen as existing all at once. It's not that they don't exist, but rather that they're all happening simultaneously, like different channels on a TV. We're just usually tuned into the present channel. Think about it like this. Imagine you're watching a movie on DVD. The whole movie exists on that disc all at once, right? But when you watch it, you experience it as a sequence of events, one scene after another. Our experience of time is a bit like that. All of time exists at once, but we experience it as a sequence: past, present, future. Now here's where it gets really interesting. As we go through this consciousness evolution we talked about earlier, it's like we're starting to pick up on these other channels. We're becoming more aware of the bigger picture of time. And as we tap into this truth, our experience of time starts to change. It's like we're seeing behind the curtain, getting a glimpse of how things really work. And when that happens, time as we know it starts to get a bit wobbly. You might start having more déjà vu experiences or prophetic dreams. You might find yourself remembering the future, yes, that's a thing, or reliving past events as if they're happening now. All of these are signs that you're starting to see through the illusion of time. But what does this have to do with time seeming to speed up? Well, as we become more aware of the illusory nature of time, we stop experiencing it in such a linear way. Instead of time being a straight line from past to future, it becomes more like a pool that we're swimming in, able to move in any direction. And when you're not bound by linear time, when you're able to dip into past, present, and future all at once, guess what? It feels like everything is happening faster. Because in a way, it is. It's like being able to read a book by absorbing the whole page at once, instead of going line by line. You'd get through the book a lot quicker, right? That's kind of what's happening as we start to see through the illusion of time. Now, I know this is some pretty mind-bending stuff. And you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know if this is actually happening to me? Well, that's a great question, and it leads us perfectly into our next topic. Certainly. I'll continue with the remaining sections of the script and at a conclusion, maintaining the same engaging, easy-to-understand style. All right, So we've talked about all these big ideas, energy shifts, evolving consciousness, the illusion of time. But you might be wondering, how does this actually show up in my life? Well, let's break it down. Here are some signs that you're experiencing this time speed up firsthand. First off, if your days seem to be flying by at warp speed, that's a big clue. You know those days when you blink and suddenly it's bedtime? Yeah, that's happening more and more to people all over the world. It's like someone's hit the fast forward button on life. Another sign is feeling like there's never enough time. You might find yourself constantly racing against the clock, always feeling like you're running late or falling behind. It's not that you're doing more than before, it's that time seems to be slipping through your fingers faster than ever. But it's not all about stress and rushing. You might also notice that you're becoming more aware of your thoughts and feelings. It's like your inner world is coming into sharper focus. You might find yourself questioning things you've always taken for granted, or suddenly understanding concepts that used to baffle you. And here's a fun one. Weird coincidences might start happening more often. Like thinking of a friend and then they call you out of the blue, or stumbling upon exactly the information you need right when you need it. These synchronicities, as they're called, are often a sign that you're tuning into the bigger picture of reality. Now, if you're experiencing these things, don't freak out. It doesn't mean you're losing your mind, it just means you're starting to feel the effects of this big shift we're all going through, and trust me, it gets even more interesting from here. Okay, so time feels like it's on fast forward. What can you actually do about it? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Here are some practical tips to help you navigate this new, speedier reality. First up, practice being present in the moment. I know, you've probably heard this a million times before, but there's a reason for that. It really works. When you're fully present, fully engaged in what you're doing right now, time takes on a different quality. It might still feel fast, but it becomes rich and full instead of rushed and frantic. Try this. Next time you're eating, really focus on your food. Notice the flavors, the textures, the smells. When you're talking to someone, really listen to what they're saying instead of thinking about what you'll say next. These little moments of presence can make a big difference in how you experience time. Another great technique is to do things that make you lose track of time. You know those activities where hours fly by and you barely notice? That state of flow is like a superpower when it comes to dealing with speeding time. It could be a hobby you love, a sport you're passionate about, or even just getting lost in a good book. Whatever it is for you, make time for those flow activities. Now, here's one that might surprise you. Take breaks from technology. I know it sounds counterintuitive in our always connected world, but constant digital stimulation can make time feel like it's rushing by even faster. Try setting aside some tech-free time each day. You might be amazed at how it changes your perception of time. And here's a big one. Connect with nature. There's something about being in nature that helps ground us in the present moment. Whether it's a walk in the park, tending to a garden, or just sitting under a tree, spending time in nature can help slow down your perception of time. Remember, the goal isn't to somehow magically make time slow down. It's about changing your relationship with time so you can flow with it instead of feeling like you're always fighting against it. Now let's zoom out and look at the big picture. Why is all of this happening? What's the point of time speeding up and reality getting all wibbly-wobbly? Well, here's the exciting part. It's all about growth. Spiritual growth, to be exact. Think of it like this. The universe is giving us a cosmic kick in the pants. It's pushing us to evolve, to expand our consciousness, to become more than we were before. This time, speed up is like a spiritual boot camp, challenging us to level up our awareness and understanding. But why now? Well, many spiritual traditions talk about cycles of time, ages that the Earth and humanity go through. And according to many of these traditions, we're at the cusp of a new age, one of higher consciousness and greater spiritual awareness. This time, speed up is part of that transition, helping to usher in this new era. It's like we're all in school, and the universe just announced that finals are coming up sooner than we thought. Suddenly, everything is intensifying. We're learning faster, growing quicker, facing our challenges head-on. It might feel overwhelming at times, but it's all in service of our growth and evolution. This speed-up is pushing us to focus on what really matters. When time feels short, we naturally prioritize what's truly important to us. It's like the universe is asking us, what really matters to you? What do you want to do with your time here on Earth? It's encouraging us to let go of the trivial and focus on our true purpose. And here's the really cool part. We're not just growing as individuals. We're evolving as a species. This shift is pushing us towards greater empathy, compassion, and understanding. It's nudging us towards a more connected, more conscious way of living. In a way, we're being prepared for a whole new way of existing. One where we're more in tune with each other, with the Earth, with the universe itself. It's like we're all characters in a video game, and we're about to unlock a whole new level of play. So next time you feel like time is racing by, remember, it's not just about feeling rushed or stressed, it's about growth, evolution, and transformation. You're part of something huge, something cosmic, and every moment, every experience is helping to shape this new reality we're stepping into. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? We've talked about energy shifts, evolving consciousness, the illusion of time, and so much more. It's a lot to take in, I know. But here's the thing. Understanding all of this isn't just about satisfying your curiosity, though it's pretty mind-blowing stuff, right? It's about empowering you to navigate this wild, speedy new reality we're living in. Time isn't just speeding up in your head. It's a real phenomenon tied to big spiritual changes happening on Earth. We're going through a massive energy upgrade that's affecting everything and everyone. Humanity is evolving, becoming more conscious, and that's changing how we experience time. Time itself might be an illusion, and we're starting to see through that illusion. Here are ways to cope with this time speed up, like practicing presence and connecting with nature. All of this is happening for a reason, to help us grow and evolve spiritually. Now here's what I want you to do. Pay attention. Really tune in to how you're experiencing time in your daily life. Notice those moments when time seems to fly by, or when it feels like it's stretching out. Be aware of how your perception of time changes based on what you're doing and how you're feeling. And remember, you're not alone in this. Millions of people all around the world are going through the same thing. We're all in this together, riding this wave of change and evolution. So embrace it. Don't fight against the speed up, flow with it. Use it as a tool for growth and transformation. Let it push you to focus on what really matters, to live more fully, more consciously. And hey, next time someone complains about how fast time is flying by, you can blow their mind with what you've learned. Share this knowledge, spread the awareness. Because the more of us who understand what's really going on, the smoother this transition will be for all of us. Thank you for joining me on this mind-bending journey through time and consciousness. Remember, in this new, faster reality, every moment is precious. So make them count, stay present, and enjoy the ride. The best is yet to come. The